Hello everyone, and welcome to the Path to Math Mastery. Today we will be learning about parallel and perpendicular lines. So let us begin. So first of all, let us put our name on this sheet. Let us say the Path to Math Mastery. And FYI, Ms. Furman has made me make this video 2 times already. So what is the date? 11/10/21. So we must criticize Ms. Furman. What is the topic? Parallel and perpendicular lines. And the fun story, I published this video to YouTube, and then Ms. Furman finds mistakes. Wow. Okay, what's our class? Mathematics. Algebra. So, remember to criticize Miss Furman, and if you don't know Miss Furman, well, that's okay. So now let's begin. So let's begin with parallel lines. So what do parallel lines mean? It means two lines that never intersect. I would like to specify never, because the word never is very important. So they never intersect. That means they will never draw lines. So two lines that never intersect. So algebraically, we need to discover how two lines are parallel. That is simple. We just say they have the same slope. So let me give you an example. So if we have a line like this, which we graphed, and then we have another line like this, which we graphed. Well, as you can tell, this is not a perfect representation, but they're about the same distance apart, and they keep going in the same direction. So this is basically an example of parallel lines. So now we will put perpendicular lines, and these are two lines that intersect. Well, two lines that intersect at a 90 degree angle. And we know that two lines are perpendicular if they have negative reciprocals for reciprocals for the slope. So what is a negative reciprocal? So let's see this. It says, what are negative reciprocals? I feel inspired. So we get 3/4. Well, what is the opposite of 3/4? Not this. The opposite of 3/4 is 4/3. Right? So we put 4/3. But we have to add a negative sign. So basically what a negative reciprocal is, these two numbers multiplied together will equal -1. So now let's do 2. So this is actually 2. Let me change the thickness, because when there's a Miss Furman, things are hard. So we're going to change the thickness, and we're going to put 2/1. And well, the opposite of 2/1 is 1/2, but it's technically -1/2. That's the difference between a reciprocal and a negative reciprocal. So now we've got -7/8. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 8/7, because we're reversing them, but since it already has a negative, we don't need to put it again, because then we'd get a positive. Now what about 1? Well, this is 1/1, and the opposite of 1/1 is -1, because -1 times 1 equals something. Now 0. Well, we can't make an opposite of 0, can't we? So the answer is 0. Right? 1 second. I need to take this call. Give me 1 second. It should be ringing in around now. Hi, Miss Furman. Yes. So Miss Furman, so what are you saying is wrong with my video? So you're saying -5, the negative reciprocal problem is wrong? Okay, so we do that. Okay. Define. Okay, so Miss Furman and I decided to work on number 5 together. So let's think about it like this. 5 is technically, 0 is technically 0 over 1, because 0 over 1 is 0. So now let's check. We eliminate this, and so let's eliminate this text. When we reverse 0 over 1, we get -1 over 0. But if we divide by 0, 1 divided by 0, well, as you can tell, we get an error. So when we get an error, we put undefined. So basically, you just flip it, and since you're dividing by 0, you put undefined. Yeah, undefined. So now we're gonna find if lines are parallel or perpendicular given ordered pairs. So the first thing is we've got AB and CD. So the first thing we want to do is we want to find the slope of AB, and then we're going to find the slope of CD. So what's the slope of AB? Well, for AB, we get, here was our X value, and here's our Y value, X and Y. And I'm going to actually highlight it. So we're going to highlight the X values, yellow, and the Y values green. So X is yellow and Y is green. So let's just do that for these, because if we color code it, it's easier when you're actually gonna do it if you ever get confused. So now we've got these. So the first thing we do is we're gonna do AB. So we need to focus on AB. We cannot get distracted by the other one. So we'll do AB. So this is the first one. So we're gonna find the value of the slope. So we know that the slope is y2 minus y1. So basically what we're doing is we're gonna subtract 6 from 3 on the top, right? Because we do the one on the right versus the one on the right on the left side. And then we're gonna do 2 minus -2, which means we add 2. So AB is 3/4. Now let's try CD. So let me erase, because I color coded uselessly just to help you represent this. So we're gonna do 3 minus 0 in our minds, which is 3, and then 3 minus -1. If you need to write this down, please do. Is 3/4. So for both of them, we get a slope of 3/4. Well, it says parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So what do you know about parallel lines? They have the same slope. Okay, so we have concluded that AB and CD are parallel lines. So let's do a couple more. So we've got AB and let's CD. So hopefully I don't need to highlight it, but if you do, feel free to on your paper. So we're gonna do 4 minus 2, so that's 2. And then we're gonna do 5 minus 0, which is 5. So we get 2/5. Now we're gonna do 3 minus 8 on the other one because we did AB. So that would be -5. Then we do CD, so it's 3 minus 1. So we get -5, 2. -5, 2. Well, -5/2. So what we know is that these are inverse reciprocals. If you need help to brush up, you can always go back to that section in the video. But they're the opposites completely because they have a negative and it's flipped the numbers. So we can say that these are perpendicular. So we'll put AB and CD are perpendicular. So now we're going to do number 3. So number 3 says AB formed by -1, 8, and 2, 6. So let's focus. So we're going to find the one for AB. So we do 6 minus 8, which is -2. And then we're going to do 2 minus -1, which is 3. Now we're going to do CD. So CD says 3 minus 2 is 1. Then 3 minus negative 1, which is adding, is 1/4. So as we can see, we have different slopes. Well, they'll just be parallel. They can't. They're different. What about perpendicular? Well, we don't have the same two numbers flipped. So we have to put neither. So hopefully 3 examples are good enough for you. If not, remember to contact this email address. And do not spam. I will talk about this more during the video. But it's here. So anyways, that is number 4. So you also have to do 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your own. Because now we're going to solve given equations. Oh man. So we got y equals 7x plus 2 and y equals 7x minus 1. The only things we've got to focus on are the slopes. And let me actually get a thinner marker because I've been having that issue all day. So we're going to circle 7x, right? And 7x. So do we have the same slope? Yes. What does that mean? That means our lines are parallel. So now we've got y equals 4x minus 8 and y equals negative 4x plus 3. So again, we're just going to focus on the slope, which is given to you. So it's even easier. And what do we see? Well, one of them is the inverse reciprocal. They're both inverse reciprocals. So it's perpendicular. How do I know that they're inverse reciprocals? Well, 4/5, we flip it, it's 5/4. And then we add a negative sign. So now about this one. So we get y equals negative 1/3 x. And y equals 1/3 x. So we circle 1/3, negative 1/3 x, and 1/3 x. Oh, well, this is just parallel. They're the same slope. No. You have to remember there is the haunted negative sign. So, well, they're just perpendicular, right? One is negative, one is positive. No. It are the same numbers, but when we flip it, it would be 3x. So, overall, this one is neither. Sneaky tricky. So now let's try this one. So as you can tell, this one, well, it's not in our beautiful form of beauty. We have to get to the pinnacle and turn it into slope-intercept form. So let's try it. So we subtract x from both sides, right? Minus x. And we get 6y minus x. No, 6y equals negative x plus 30. So then we divide by 6. Hopefully we can do that in our minds. If you need help, just manually do it. So 6. I don't do it because it's kind of hard on a laptop, on a trackpad, even though these are the best. So we put y equals negative 1/6 x plus 5. So let me just erase everything else because that is what we need and everything else is just causing havoc on this city. So we'll erase this. We'll click on our text and we'll delete this. And we'll move this to a more useful location. So now we're going to do 3y equals 18x minus 6. Oh, good for my mouse. No more needing to do all that moving numbers from sides and killing myself. So we'll divide 3 since we want to isolate y. 3. So we get y equals 6x minus 2. So we focus on our slopes again. And as we can see, these are inverse reciprocals. Because 6x, well, if we flip it, it's 1/6. And we have negative 1/6. So for this one, it would be perpendicular. Now, time for Miss Furman's nightmare. This problem is a nightmare. In my previous copy of this video, I said this is an impossible problem. And guess what? I got it wrong. So let me show you what I did wrong, first of all. So we know that for y equals 6, x equals 0 because, well, y isn't there. So x equals 0. But for this one, x equals -1, right? So the obvious choice is to, we'll put -1, right? But wait, there's more, right? Just remember, if I get this wrong again, I'm suing you. So we've got a graph, and don't tell me that it's made for tablets. X is 0, right? Let me change the color of that. And then x is -1. Well, actually, it doesn't work this way. Let me explain it a bit differently. So, let me create a graph. Well, we actually have one on Myro's built-in. So we have y equals 6. Let me just write that down. And we're going to make it very big. Y equals 6 and x equals -1. So let's try and graph that. Let me make this even bigger. So let's graph it. So we've got, let's just say this is our origin. And this is a graph. Don't criticize it over the looks. And let me actually, no, it's okay. Let me change the origin point because why not? So we'll zoom in, right? And then this is our origin, this point. And then we go up. Or we go this way. So we've got x equals -1. So that would be here. And then that would be here. And that would be all of this. All of this would be covered by x equals -1. Since there's no slope, it's all that. And then we've got y equals 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So y would equal 6. But this would go in this way. But if we were to continue this line, well, as you can tell, it's a 90-degree angle. So that would mean that it's a perpendicular line. Now let me give another example because this was honestly bad. So let's say this is our origin point all the way down here, right? So let's say x is -3. So we'd go left 3. But y equals, I don't know, 4. So y would include, x would be any point all over this axis, right? But y would be any point all over this line. Well, again, we see the intersection at 90 degrees. So what we can resolve from this is when they intersect at 90 degrees, it is perpendicular. So Ms. Sherman made this impossible, and we actually have to focus on something important. And we're going to put perpendicular. So that was my lesson on parallel and perpendicular lines. And Miss Furman, thank you for this opportunity. But please understand that you shouldn't put impossible problems. Okay, so this is my email. So you send an email to this, I respond to you, and teach you math. Now, if you send me a very polite email, I might give way to message me. And then I can help you more directly. Now, if you go to my school, well then you can just contact me in person. So, that's that. If you spam, well, you're punished. So thank you very much and have a nice day. And may God bless you all.